last year, but just what you've seen on tape from Kirby last year to how he's playing right now, I guess, what do you see as the biggest steps that he's taken?
Yeah, I think he's always been outstanding in the deep part of the field. The biggest improvement that I see from him is, one, I think his communication has been outstanding for the back seven. And we talked a lot this offseason about great safeties just aren't great players. Great safeties make people around them better. So I think he's embraced that, and I think he's done a really good job communicating with the back end guys, especially with how young we are. I think his strike when he's down in the box has improved, the way he's striking blockers and getting off. I think his tackling has improved this year compared to last year, and I think his man coverage has improved. Last two games, he's climbed down and he's played man coverage on tight ends and wide receivers. He's done a pretty good job. So when it comes to him, that's what I say.
Guys better. Is that something that you've seen from Branch too? Was that one of the big reasons why you guys wanted to move him back there at safety, and just what you've seen? I know he missed last game, but what you've seen through the first 3 games?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing coming off of last year, coming into it when we were evaluating the season and watching all the cut-ups was we got to get this guy on the field 100% of the time. Whereas last year he was mostly just in on nickel, so teams could dictate when he was in or out of the game. So the big emphasis this offseason was getting him ready to go at safety and nickel, and I think AG's done an unbelievable job schematically showing offenses different looks where, we could be in base, but we could be playing nickel calls because of the skill set that Branch has, or we could be in base and he could be aligned at safety, which is very hard on the offense, and it just shows what kind of player he is. There's not a lot of those guys in the league that can do that kind of stuff.
I don't know how common it is for teams to have free and strong safeties anymore. I don't know if the versatility is required, but you mentioned Kirby's skill set. I mean, you can see that he's more comfortable playing in the box and making those plays. We know Branch is obviously capable of range and playmaking. When you have that kind of diverse skill set with both your guys, how much more leverage, creativity does that give you coaching the position?
No, I mean, it's awesome. I think that what was really good, just like with Kirby last week, obviously with BB not playing, he was able to show his versatility and go down in the box. But if the game's on the line, you definitely want Kirby deep and you want BB down in the box. And I think that it says a lot about both those two players, because Kirby just doesn't want to be looked at as a deep safety, and BB just doesn't want to be looked at as a box safety. You know what I mean? I think both those guys want to be in that 60-40 world, which would be ideal because, again, that makes it harder on offenses. They can't always look at us and say, okay, that's the safety that's dropping down. You know what I mean? It makes them have to work a little bit harder. But it's nice when every once in a while you feel good about Kirby man-to-man on a tight end and BB can rock back to the post, or, it's good. It's those guys being as interchangeable as they are. I mean, I think they're going to grow, and it's still early in the season. I think we got some steps to take, but I'm pleased with where they're at right now.
Brandon Joseph got his first extended look. Obviously, you have some familiarity with him. I guess how cool was that to see him get that chance, and then what did you make of his?
Yeah, I think that the thing that was, and I think Dan's talked about it. We've kind of in practice have given Kirby and BB almost every rep just because they needed it, because BB missed some time during last spring and he missed some time during training camp. So we felt like we needed to get that chemistry going in the back end. And, Bijo, with very limited reps, went in at the end of the Arizona game and helped us close that out with the 5 or 6 plays at the end, and found out that he was going to start the game Saturday morning before our walkthrough. So he really went into that game just having the walkthrough reps. And I think everybody that comes away from their first start, there's probably like 10 or 15 things that you feel like you could have done better. But I thought he went in there, he did his job, he communicated, he was where he was supposed to be. And I think he'll grow a lot as a player now that he has his own tape. He's not just learning from everybody else's scars. When you sit in the meeting and you're constantly coaching Kirby or you're constantly coaching BB, and he's got to take those coaching points and learn from them, he's got his own coaching points now. So that helps you grow as a player when you can learn from your own scars and not somebody else's scars.
Coaching points for him coming out of that game?
For Brant Bijo, there were some things alignment-wise where when he was in the deep part of the field that we have to get cleaned up. There were a couple tackles where his footwork was a little bit off. I thought he had an awesome open field tackle on the wide receiver screen that popped on our defense. So there was a lot of good, but obviously we're striving for perfection, and our standards are pretty high in that room. So I think that those are probably the two main things.
The top of your depth chart's obviously so established. You've got a couple undrafted guys that were with you through camp. Lauren obviously made the roster. You got back Norris here on the practice squad a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
You know, what is your focus with developing young guys that maybe aren't on a path to a clear role early in their career?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with Mo. I thought Mo had a really good offseason and a really good training camp. He unfortunately, had the hamstring injury. But for me, I've always looked for safeties that had corner in their background and that have the physicality to go inside, right, and show the instincts to do that. And to me, when I watched the college tape of Mo, he showed that, even though he mostly played corner and nickel at Fresno State. When we watched Strick as a part of our evaluation process, he just kind of, everything that we talk about culture-wise, he embodied it with his play style. So, I mean, to me, both those guys were guys that we targeted and guys that we wanted after the draft, and I'm glad that they're both here. I think Strick's going to help us a lot on special teams and on defense, and I'm excited about Maurice Norris and what he can do for us down the road. But the development process is those guys, they're taking every rep on scout team. We'll stay after practice and work specific techniques with those guys to keep the development going. And then at some point, I'm hoping that we could get some one-on-ones and that kind of stuff going against maybe the down-the-line receivers or down-the-line tight ends, so they have some film of themselves to watch where they're actually executing our exact techniques and stuff.
You mentioned Kirby with the game on the line. What's the level of trust in him in a late-game situation, say, go out there and make a play for us just when you need one like that? Yeah,
I mean, Kirby makes the middle of the field a scary place, and, from going and attacking the ball, and he also, usually most safeties don't have both, right? They usually don't make it scary on quarterbacks. Ball's in the air, he's going to go get it. And then they make it scary on ball carriers where he's going to knock the hell out of you. And he's one of the few that I've been around that possesses both those characteristics. So I have full trust in him. And 2-minute drill, I know if they got to take chunk plays and throw the ball downfield, Kirby's going to come down with one. I mean, he should have probably 1 or 2 more on this season, and he knows that.
Is there a player in your history that you've worked with that has kind of those similar skill sets?
No, I mean, I've been around a lot of good ones. I think Kirby's different. I've been around Tashawn Gibson, Dante Whitner, been around Jimmy Leonard, been around LaRon Landry. So, I've been around some good players. Everybody's unique. Everybody's different. But like I said, very few guys have the ability to go track the ball like he does in the deep part of the field, but then also be as aggressive as he can and take the angles, the violent angles that he takes, whether it's a slant route or a running back pop. So that's rare, and that's fun to coach.
Do you have any idea how important, if at all, it is for Kirby to lead the NFL in interceptions? Is that a meaningful goal for him to achieve? McKinney's on a crazy streak right now.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. We don't talk about that. I'm sure it's in his head because he knows his superpower is playing in the deep part of the field. And, when you're known for being a deep safety, you're really evaluated on your ball production. So I'm sure he wants to get his hands on the ball every single game. And the expectation is that he should get his hands on the ball every game with the way AG calls it and the way AG puts those guys in position to make plays. But it would not shock me at all if his goal's double digits or something like that. That's just who he is. He sets high expectations of himself.
Is there an art to baiting a quarterback into throwing your way as a deep safety?
He would tell you 100% there is, yes. But yeah, there is a little bit of a science to it. And if you listen to some of the great ones through the past, with your body presence, you can dictate where the ball's going while I'm mentally leaning or stealing second base to where I want the ball to go. And does Kirby have some of that in him? Absolutely. Absolutely, he does.
What's your assessment of what you've seen from Schottenheimer and Dak this year so far?
No, I think they're an explosive offense. I think that it's going to be a great challenge for us. I mean, obviously, if Dak Dak gets going and 88 gets going, they're hard to stop. And a lot of people are doing a lot of things schematically to try to take 88 out of the game. But, the tight ends, the other receivers, the backs, they're stepping up. I think they recommitted themselves to the run game, against the Steelers. They rushed the ball over 30 times. So it's going to be a great test for our defense. I think our guys are excited about it.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
It's good to see you again. Seems like it's been a long time since we've seen each other, talk to you guys. Hope you enjoyed your break. I know for the coaches, myself, it's just a really good time to be able to reconnect with my kids. I got to watch a lot of little sports and some different things, just hanging out with them and reconnect with my immediate family, but also my extended family down in North Carolina. Just really makes me, thankful of how blessed we are here, but also just to, my heart is with them when they're going through. A lot of people without power. A lot of people lost family members. Thank God I haven't lost anybody that had any really horrific deals, but myself and Ben Johnson definitely are connected to. I'm connected to, of course, Cleveland County, and he is directly connected to Asheville. So that means hell of a lot to us to make sure that they're good. So we're thinking about you if you're listening.
Just before we get into football stuff, how is everyone that you know doing down there? I know you said nothing significant, but obviously they're still affected by some of this.
Yeah, the biggest thing now is just being without power. Some people are without power, and some people are without water, and the combination of both those, of course, can be, kind of hard to deal with. Especially now you're getting into week, in that time, and just replacing some of the things that they have. But everybody is, thank God, in my family is doing well. There's other things that come up inside of that. So we're thinking about them, definitely.
How much family do you still have down there?
Just about half of my family is still there. So it's just a lot of people that I care and love, and still the same thing for, thinking about the people in Tampa. I have friends with homes in Tampa and different things, and now what they're getting ready to go through is just very difficult, just difficult.
When you look at the groove that, the running backs were in before that bye week, man, how do you keep that momentum rolling, man, keep those guys in that groove like that over this bye week, man?
We got to get better, and they're professionals. That's the two things. We're going to continue to challenge them. I think they know that we really still haven't hit the mark of what we are capable of hitting. I believe that collectively in our room, but collectively on offense. And it's time, it's time for us to, continue to start stacking these performances all together. I think they're ready to go. We'll be challenged this week. There's no question about it. But the hardest part of always getting better is the fact that, consistency in details and lack of mental errors and just being locked in and taking care of the football, all those things are very important. So we'll work hard. We'll practice our off today and just continue to try to move forward.
The team is dealing with as many injuries up front as Dallas is, and you really don't know who's going to be in. What's the challenge of that? Is it just you got to sit down and take a few extra hours just to prepare for everybody and every contingency, or kind of how does that look in preparation?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of time, of course, to start working. And the hardest part about it all is you don't know exactly what they're working on. And you don't know the strength of some of the people that you haven't seen on tape. And they can create some advantages because of that. So we're just, right now, we're trying to prepare ourselves for a whole litany of things that they could possibly do to us, not knowing if someone's going to play, if they are going to play. A lot of those things come into it. But one of the things that I will say about their last two games, they've had some injuries, but, man, they played really, really good football. I think they play as high effort level energy that, I've seen play, of course, over here over the last couple of weeks, and we've really kind of focused on what they've been doing. And, it's the National Football League. It's really a next man up league, and somebody's getting an opportunity. It's a really, really good football player that we just haven't seen yet. And that's what's showing up on tape. Got a lot of respect for the way that they coach, of course. Got a lot of respect for them, and just really looking forward to the game, but also there's always the unknown that makes you a coach. That's really what we get paid for, the unknown. So we look forward to the challenge.
I think it was Jameer that had a big blitz pickup on that touchdown to JMO in the game against the Seahawks. How has his pass blocking come along since?
Yeah, we thought, in the beginning that he would get a lot better at it just because, he didn't have to do it very much. You're not called on to do it. But his offseason work, and then along with, what Dan has done, and gives us a lot of opportunities to be in one-on-one situations in practice. in camp and even through some of the other stuff that we do to make sure that we are physical. But it's more about fundamental awareness in those situations, and he's using it now. His eyes are in the correct places. He works really well with Frank. You know, Frank is the master communicator there, but he also is now to the point of where he can accelerate his vision and protection, which gets him there a step quicker. And now that it's slowing down for him, he can get there a step quicker. Now he's more confident. Now he can be more physical because he is very, very strong. He's a combination of speed and strength. So we just worked on really trying to accelerate his vision, and that's what happened there. I mean, they hit us with a zero blitz there, and guys were coming from all over. But we did a really good job of listening to the ID, working ourselves through the ID, and picking up the guy that was most damaging for our quarterback there. So I was really proud of him in that situation.
David and Junior don't talk a lot about their individual accomplishments. They talk more about being the best tandem in the league, and they're certainly in that mix. I'm curious from your perspective. They also talk about it at a historical level. Who do you think is the best running back tandem in NFL history?
Ooh, hey, that's a good one. That is not fair. That is woo, boy. You just put me on the seat. I'm always going to be an old school fan of what they were doing in the old school because I just was hammered home on it from my father. And I don't even know if this is true, right? I don't know if it's true, but, the Franco Harris, Rocky, the Jim Brown tandem was good. Man, my era, boy, there's been some good ones. I thought that, I don't want to get into, just knocking anybody, but I thought that the backfield that the Carolina Panthers had was a really good tandem. I'm trying to think of somebody else. One of my favorites I was kind of growing up through it, so I'm kind of partial, was probably Allstott and Dunn. I like those guys. So don't know if they were the greatest. I was pounded home on who the greatest was, so I do exactly what my father used to say and tell me to do. So those were good tandems, but new age, I think our guys have a chance to, they have to be consistent throughout this year and going through their career, and they definitely would be in that conversation.
The early trends of the NFL season, passing numbers a little bit down, the too high safety look, really prominent, stuff like that. Do you feel like the run game is more important now, or do you feel like it's coming back in a little bit of a way, or?
I think it also has something to do with, coordinators and defensive strategy, what's happening now, and the pressure that they can put on you on third down situations. There are a few more runs that are happening. There are, of course, we're controlling some of those down and distances where guys last year a lot, we were getting to probably not us necessarily, but a lot of guys were getting second and long, third and long situations. Of course, 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5 is much more manageable in the way that they feel gives them the best opportunity to do it right now as a run game. But, it's the beginning of the year trend. We'll take a look at it, as 4 quarters, 4 games, and then 4 quarters. You see after this first half, see what changes. Of course, people will adjust, just as we're talking about it right now. So I'm sure someone is adjusting, and we may see the next couple of weeks 400-yard, passers and 100-yard rushers. But right now, people are doing a good job. And also, the evolution of the quarterback position in certain places is helping guys, create a few more rush yards. So that's what we're seeing.
Dan said that Jameer's ever so close to really taking off. He's seeing, the opportunities for big explosive runs. From what you're seeing, what 1 or 2 factors can still happen for even more explosive chances for Jameer?
His biggest challenge this week is going to make people miss on the 2nd and 3rd level. And that is a challenge because it's how you get to the 2nd and 3rd level. If we can get there clean, with his feet in place, square on defenders, he can make people miss. Then a lot of times right now he is running so fast and our line is doing such a good job that when he gets to the 2nd level, they're always on angle, right? So he can make one guy miss, but there may be a corner on an angle on him. But right now, if we can just get him there with some squareness on guys in one-on-one situations, it'll give us a much better chance. Yeah.
Coach, how would you describe the level of respect your room has for the O-line, especially after Seattle, where Frank's not in there and some guys have to step up?
I know people thought it's just like this friendship deal between Hank and I, and because I'm always praising Hank and the O-line, but it's really not. It really comes from our film study with the backs, with the O-line, just collectively as we're watching what we're doing on tape. And it's some effort plays that you guys you wouldn't even, like I talked about Skip, you don't even see these things if you're just watching it with the naked eye unless someone is, hey, you need to look at this. You're just kind of watching the ball carry or the front side of the play, something happening on the backside. So the respect really comes from the effort, not the talent, the effort that guys put in, and they know that their job is to elevate the guys around them. And the responsibility flip for us is let's elevate where Frank is. I mean, how good of a player are we if we don't elevate the people around us? So our respect comes, but we know they're preparing. We know that they're prepared. They're going through every situation that we could possibly think of. So there's a great level of respect for that room between the backs and the O-line, and then vice versa.
O-line running back film sessions every week?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We have to do certain things together because they need to hear what Frank is talking about, and then Frank needs to also hear, what Hank is saying and what I'm saying, and especially in some of our protection, which is the most time that we spend in the run game and our protections together. Yep.
Last time we talked to you, you were glowing about David being carried by his offensive lineman for that first down. Last week, a little bit more of an individual effort on that catch and
Which
run.
one?
The reception. Yeah. I'm just curious, your perspective of that play. It was clearly not designed to get more than a couple yards there.
Yeah, that's what we talk about when elevating good players, elevate the people around them, right? That is it, in a sense, because if you watch that play, after David, had the physical contact with Witherspoon, who is one hell of a player, did you see how quickly he was off the ground and chased? That was amazing to me. And that's why this league is the league of extraordinary gentlemen. That was crazy. But if you watch David as he physically contacted Witherspoon, immediately after that, everybody turned on, right? Like that power that he had. But if you watch the rest of the players now, everybody's going to block. Everybody's getting downfield. So he created some momentum and juice there. But just the physical fitness that he showed on that play, not just the power, but to be able to make somebody miss right after the run over and then having the speed to get it back across the field. It was good to be able to watch. We had good seats for that run. That's all I can say. I went from a coach to a fan, and then I had to quickly, the guys around me had to quickly get me back to coaching because that was a great moment to watch.
Have you ever seen an offensive lineman like Decker block 5 guys?
No, I have not. But I've seen guys on our line now block 3 and 4 guys, so I'm starting to believe that that's what they're coaching, and there's some natural talent there too. All right, thanks, guys. I told you put me on in the high school, but I agree with you. I'm with